I'm walking in miracles. I live a life of favor. Yes, I know who I am. I'm walking in power. I'm walking in miracles. I live a life of favor. Yes, I know who I am. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are joining from this evening. I welcome you to this live broadcast. I'm feeling so excited. I'm delighted in my heart because it's the 13th year anniversary of the Purpose Center. Yes, this date 13 years ago, we started this great journey of raising a generation that is purpose driven, uh, teaching how to discover God's purpose and how to fulfill that purpose is a wow. Thank you so much, Spirit of Sako, my great mentor, my brother, my friend. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. I'll wait a few more minutes for all my friends and followers everywhere you are watching from. Please share this video, live video, with your friends. I'm about to share something that I believe will transform your life if you have not yet found your purpose. And if you have also found your purpose, this will strengthen your resolve to get to your particular finish line. There's a specific finish line for each individual once they find purpose. Thank you, Atinuke Ojenema. We spoke a few minutes before I came live to share what has been in my heart since yesterday. So what I'm sharing this evening is what has purpose got to do with these three key decision areas. Why you should find purpose before you gain before you gain admission if you're a student, before you start a career path if you are a young adult, maybe you just finished from college or university, and then if you are in the season of finding love or you are already in courtship, this will help you reevaluate if you are with the right partner. I did not say if you are with a good partner. So I'm going to wait a bit for more people to join. My purpose partner has also joined from where she is. Thank you, my sweetheart, for coming on board this flight, Purpose Boeing 787. I'm just excited. I'm grateful to God for the journey. It has not been easy, but we have seen a lot of fruits, a lot of fruitfulness. We have touched a lot of lives across Lagos, across Nigeria, and I believe across the world, bringing inspiring education to our generation. For us at the Purpose Center, we believe that inspirational education is one of the foundation of long-term success. Any form of education that does not help you discover who you truly are, uncover your true abilities, help you understand your vocational aptitude, help you set and reset your mindset for the journey, long journey of career success, is not true education. A lot of young Nigerians today actually are underemployed. A lot of people are engaged in jobs that are far below their true potential, all because of a lack of revelation of some of the truths that I'll be bringing your way this evening. If you're meeting me for the very first time, my name is Noah Toluleke Afeoluwape. I'm the founder of Nigeria's first and leading self-discovery and purpose discovery academy, the Purpose School. I'm also known as Mr. Purpose, and I'm excited about what we are about to share with you tonight. I want to use the opportunity to also say big congratulations to my father, my mentor, Pastor Kingsley. Sorry, I have to say that this way. Dr. Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo, a man that has been walking in the path of purpose for his life in the past 26 years. He has been devoted to developing and helping young people understand their core areas of grace in the area of marriage. He's a pastor, the senior pastor of Davis Christian Center. He was awarded honorary doctorate degree from the Miles Leadership University. So you see, when you find purpose and you walk in your own path and you distribute your greatness to the rest of humanity, you will attract different kinds of awards. He didn't go looking for that doctorate degree. It came to him because he obeyed the laws of fruitfulness. Okay, Wale Wealthy, thank you for joining. So I think at this time, I will just kick off from my notes which I have prepared. This is burning hot. I've not shared this anywhere before. I'm going to share for the very first time today. So the topic that I am doing justice to tonight is why you should discover purpose before you get admission, before you start a career path, and then before you get married. So let's start from basic definition. What is purpose? What is purpose? If you check any dictionary, you would find that purpose means the original intent for a product or for a person or for whatever it is that you want to do. But in this context, we are talking about you as an individual. There is a purpose, or there is an original intent for your life. There is an original intent in the mind of your manufacturer. You shouldn't just use a product based on assumption or based on how or other people's experience of that product. What you should do if you want to maximize a product and get fulfillment from your purchase of that product is to read the manual. The manual contains the mind of the manufacturer about his product. The manual also contains the unique abilities of that product. If you check the manual of your phone, for example, you would see the table of contents. There you see identifying the product. It will give you the exact names of what each part of that phone is called. Even cars have manuals, but I don't know if there's anybody in this part of town that would sit down with the manual of their cars and go through that car. But you see, going through the manual of any product is not a waste of time. It's a wise investment of your time. And you watching this video this evening, I want to say unequivocally to you that God has a purpose for your life. And discovering that purpose is crucial to your success journey on the earth. If you have not yet discovered God's purpose and you have made these three key decisions, you gained admission, after admission, you went through school and you started a career, and then you just got married to someone you were attracted to, then you might probably have made a decision out of assumption or just out of your emotions. So let me start basically from reading a scripture to you, because everything I'm going to be sharing is sourced from wisdom from the book of books, which is the Bible. I call the Bible the central bank of wisdom. Just like the central bank in any nation governs all the activities of other commercial banks and other forms of banks, the Bible is the book that reveals the mind of God. God, for me, is the acronym General Overseer of Destiny. General Overseer of Destiny. For every individual, there is a predestined destination that God expects you to get to, or that your purpose must be at the time you are leaving this earth. There's a specific destination that will determine whether you have succeeded in your journey. Let me make this a bit more practical. If life was like the Olympic Games, then it's not every sport that you ought to participate in. If life was like the Olympic Games and you were registered to run the 100 meters race, then your own finish line will be at the end of the 100-meter mark. If your best friend, you were born on the same day, you went to the same primary school, in fact, two of you shared the same first names but different surnames, and you look alike, you even look like twins, if he is registered to run in the 400 meters, then it will be a total waste of time if both of you are rehearsing for your races together, because that person has a different race to run, has a different finish line to run. So now listen to this statement from Proverbs chapter 19 verse 21, and I read quickly to your hearing. It said, God said here, he said, there are many plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that will prevail. There are many plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that will prevail. This version that I'm reading says, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Why you should find purpose before you gain admission, before you start a career path, and before you get married. Now let me go to the 7 things about purpose that you should know. Your purpose is what predetermines the fruit you should produce on the earth. Let me say that again. Your purpose should determine, or predetermines, the fruit you will produce on earth. Your purpose determines your fruit. The first statement God made to man, to the first human being, was be fruitful. Then he said multiply. But the first statement, the first words that Adam ever heard was be fruitful. For every individual watching this video, there is a unique seed of greatness inside of you. And if you go to a fruit shop, for example, your purpose will determine the fruit that you choose. What you want to make, like the juice you want to produce when you get back to your home, will determine the fruits you go to buy. If you want to make apple juice, for example, it will be very silly of you to go purchase mangoes. So we have all manner of trees that produce all manner of fruits. Their purpose is what predetermines the fruits they will produce based on the unique seed that they carry. So as an individual, you must realize that you can't want to imitate another individual that is enjoying natural success because they have found their core identity, their fruitfulness is predetermined by their purpose. Okay, the second thing that your purpose predetermines, your purpose should determine your focus in life. Your purpose should determine your focus in life. Focus there means finding one course until successful. Finding one course until successful. Finding one course until successful. A lot of people in our generation today are distracted by the vicissitudes of information on social media today. Distraction is the enemy of distinction. If you see anyone that you admire today doing great things in life, you will discover that they are known for one major thing. You cannot be a great basketballer and great footballer at the same time. You cannot be a master of two major things. You are designed to solve one specific problem. If you chase two rabbits, you will lose out on both of them. God designed you to become an expert, to be a master in one particular thing. That's why the first words that God spoke to Adam, he ended by saying you will gain dominion. He said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue the earth, then I will give you dominion. That's why in every field, whether music, sports, politics, religion, fashion and style, education, you will discover that business, in whatever field, you will check that the top players in that field, they are the people who have focused all their energies, all their resources, their talent, their time in that particular thing. It might not have been very popular when they started, but they discovered that they have the seed to transform into fruitfulness in that specific area. I don't want to go into too much details yet. So the third thing that your purpose predetermines, your purpose should determine your friendships. Your purpose in life is what ought to determine the friends that you choose. Listen, you did not choose your parents. You did not choose your siblings. You did not choose the neighborhood you were born. You did not choose your facial, how your face looks like today was predetermined by the parents that gave birth to you. So, but nobody is born in ugly. Nobody is ugly by design. People choose to become ugly by the attitudes that they develop, cultivate, or choose not to cultivate. But let me stay with my subject. You did not choose some of these important relationships, but you have the power to choose your friends. A wise man once said, your friends determine where you will end up in life. Your friends determines where you will end up in life. So your purpose, the discovery of your own life's assignment is what should predetermine the friends you choose. Don't choose your friends based on proximity. Don't choose your friends based on convenience. Choose your friends based on the predestination you discover that you ought to end up. If you are going, if your purpose gives you a vision that requires you going to the US, then you have no business rolling with people who are headed to maybe Abuja, for example. If you have, I live in Lagos, Nigeria, right? So if you discover that your purpose ought to be fulfilled outside Nigeria, then your association, then you shouldn't get out of your house and you see a boss, for example, and that boss, the boss has actually free, everything about that boss is free. The free bus fare, there's accommodation in Abuja for you, and they're asking you, when we get to Abuja, you're going to have a lot of fun. There's so much fun planned out for us in Abuja. Anyone going to Abuja should not be part of the people you keep company with, because your destination ought to be the US of A, or outside Nigeria. So I'm just using these analogies to explain the point. So your purpose should determine your friends, your association, right? Because your association determines your acceleration and your level of assimilation. The things you understand today, most of them did not come from the classroom. Most of them came from the people you have associated with. All right. When you shake a person's hands and you start a conversation, you are not just exchanging a handshake. You are exchanging spirits. You are exchanging attitudes. You are exchanging concept values. And most of these transfers happen in informal setups. Okay. So the next thing your purpose predetermines is your fellowship. Your fellowship. Your fellowship. Fellowship means fellows in the same ship. Here, I'm talking more about maybe your career path. A career, if you get on the right career path, you should still be on that path for about 40 years, 45 years. If Jesus tarries in his coming, even 50 years, there are some people who I know today who have been in one line of business or the other for about 40, 50 years. Case in point, Anthony Robbins, phenomenal life coach. He's been a life coach for over 40 years. Another person that I can talk about, my mentor, Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo, he's been a marriage and relationship coach now 26 years and still counting, because he discovered his purpose very early. He started out, I think, in his teenage years, and today, 26 years after, he has a vibrant global ministry, and he's known today all over the world as a relationship coach. So your purpose predetermines your fellowship. That's fellows in the same ship. And now two keywords are there: fellows and then ship. A ship is a means of transportation on the high sea, on the Atlantic Ocean. And if you check, most time you find a vessel. A vessel is carrying other goods. You can export large volumes of cocoa through through a ship, right? You can export cars. You will bring cars into Nigeria via large vessel carrying ships. You can also export coal or the natural resources and minerals that we have in our own country. We see intertrades, international trades happen through ships. So if you want to become a global phenomenon, one of the things that you need to find is the seed you are carrying and the fellowship, the fellows who will help you navigate and carry the goods that are inside of you to the other parts of the world that require your goods, that require your fruits. Remember, I started from fruits. Then the next thing that your purpose predetermines is your fragrance. Your fragrance. Your purpose determines your fragrance. Isaac said about Jacob, he said, hey, the smell of my son, like the field that the Lord has blessed. Like the field that the Lord has blessed. The fragrance here, I'm talking about your personality, the aura of your person. Or another word I can use is your persona. When you meet certain people, you just perceive that they have grace for a specific thing that they do. For example, I have certain friends that when you meet them, they just release this fragrance of a comedian. There are some people, when you meet them, you just know that this person has to be a doctor. There's a fragrance that you release out of your soul. That fragrance is predetermined by your purpose. If you hold an apple fruit, the smell is different from a mango. The smell of a watermelon is different. The fragrance is predetermined by the fruit. So a lot of people don't even pay attention to the fragrance that is coming out of them. So some people are working in the banking industry in Nigeria today because they were forced there, or they were cajoled to go there, or primarily because they were too lazy to discover who they are. So they went after what looked popular at the time they made the decision to get an admission into the university, primarily based on money. Okay, so you should check your purpose predetermines your fragrance. The sixth thing that your purpose predetermines is your finance. Your purpose determines your economic prosperity. I can say that for free. You might not start out very financially rich. In fact, when you start out fulfilling God's purpose for your life, most likely you will look to a lot of people as if you are broke, busted, and disgusted. But you see, the future of every seed is not ahead of it, it is inside of it. Your future is not ahead of you, it is inside you. The finance that you dream about is trapped inside your seed, is trapped inside your seed. And that seed has to be turned to fruit. So if you want to become a multi-millionaire, then you have to become a pioneer in a specific area of life. And there is no better way to become a multi-millionaire, to become empowered financially, other than you discovering the problem you were born to solve. Then you develop either a service or a business, or you serve your generation from that area of skillfulness. I'm doing this, I'm skimming through all of these points because this is not the main thing I want to share this evening. Then your purpose predetermines your finish line. Your purpose predetermines your finish line. I said this earlier, in the Olympic Games or in athletics, we have the 100-meter race, 200-meter race, 400-meter race, 800-meter race, 1,500-meter race. We even have the marathon, and each of these runners, they finish at different points. They finish at different points. So actually, it is until you are done. Until you are done, you can't be gone. Purpose has the power to also protect you from death. If you find God's purpose for your life, that discovery and the pursuit of that assignment has inbuilt protection to keep you from death until you get to your finish line. Something miraculous happened in our nation recently. The world-renowned, very anointed gospel worship minister, Minister Dunsin Oyekan, was involved in a ghastly motor accident. And to the glory of God, we saw that the purpose of God protected him from death. You know, that's a miracle. But that's one of the powers of finding and pursuing God's purpose for your life. If Satan mistakenly looks for trouble and tries to take your life before its time, God's integrity will be on the line, because God has a covenant with his purpose for your life. God has a covenant with his purpose and with anyone that is pregnant with his own idea for their lives. So when you find God's purpose, an anointing comes upon you, and that anointing also is like a cocoon of protection. It protects you from untimely death. So purpose has the power to protect you from death until you get to your finish line. I had 2 accidents at the earlier stages of my life, and I know today that it is the power of purpose that protected me. At the age of 10, and the second one at the age of 15, I was knocked down by a bus. The bus climbed over my chest, tore my head here, but I didn't even break a bone. I remember the date so vividly. It was June 24th, 1994. The second accident happened April 10th, the year 2000. That's 22 years ago today. But the second accident actually happened, and it pushed me right into the center of God's plan for my life. So if you're watching this video, at this point, I want to really say aloud to you, if you have not found God's purpose for your life, then you need to take out time before the end of this year to discover God's assignment for your life. There's a reason why God sent you into the earth. There's a reason why he gave you the breath in your lungs today. It's not just for you to go about getting a normal job or getting a normal degree, pursuing a normal degree, and then getting a normal job after university, then coming out of that, getting married, and then you just live your life running after money, living from hand to mouth, from one paycheck to another. That is not why that's not why the Creator put you on this earth. So now let's get into the crux of the matter. Why you should find purpose before you get admission, before you start a career path, and also before you get married. Okay, so let me try and answer that now. Now, there are 5 truths about purpose that you should know. Your purpose was in the mind of God before you were born. It is God's original intent for your life. It is a reality that exists even before you got you. In fact, it's the reality that pre-informed your identity. So the purpose of God is the idea God had in his mind that made him go into the production of the person that you are. For example, if a script writer for a movie puts about a script on paper, what the script writer would now do is to begin to look for actors that would interpret each role in that movie. Okay? And based on each actor's strengths and characteristics, their height, their complexion, their intonation, or their level of skill, then those actors are now engaged. They give them the script and give them a contract and ask them to play out that role. But listen, it's a bit different because there is a script that informed your birth, but you need to discover what your maker wanted you to do on the earth before you were born. Okay, so now your purpose when you discover God's purpose for your life, it reveals your true identity. It reveals your true identity. Now, your identity is also what reveals your ability. Now, let's go back to our system of education. I'm using Nigeria as a case study. Okay, in Nigeria, for example, our educational sector, while we're in the secondary school, has only 3 narrow paths of expression of each child's intelligence. We have the sciences, we have what we call the commercial class, which I can call the social sciences, and then we have the art department. These 3 are too narrow to really help children at that age to express their natural intelligence, because it has been discovered through research, and in the field of psychology, it has been discovered that all individuals, or there's something called this multiple intelligence theory. The multiple intelligence theory is the theory that states that all human beings have a specific area of natural intelligence. We have people who are body kinesthetic intelligence. Those kind of people are able to use their body in such an intelligent manner that reveals a dimension of God's creative genius that you won't find inside the classroom. These are the people that will do excellently well in the area of sports, calisthenics, dance, and they are able to assimilate faster once you make them participate in what you are teaching in a classroom. So if you have this kind of students in your class as a teacher, you need to engage them. It's called participatory learning. We have other forms of intelligence like linguistic intelligence. If a child falls into this category of intelligence, that child would naturally be word smart. These are the children that would excel in debates, in writing their essay comprehensions. They are able to master different kind of languages early. There's a natural capacity to excel when it has to do with words. They understand better when you are speaking to them. They don't need to participate in what you are teaching them. Once they hear you, their brain, their system, their soul is designed to assimilate words faster. We have another area of intelligence that we have is called the mathematical intelligence. These people that fall into this category of intelligence are naturally smart when it has to do with numbers. They are good in maths, they are good with calculation. These are the people that if they find this area of intelligence early, they are able to follow through. And these are the people that will do well in fields like architecture, in fields like becoming maths geniuses, engineers, because all these subjects require for you to have the raw materials or the base requirement, which is having mathematical intelligence. If an individual finds himself, or you find out early that the purpose of this person is to become someone that will solve the urban. There are people that you see they do urban and regional planning, or if the person finds out that he has capacity to excel in calculations, all those career paths that require a lot of calculations. All right. At times I drive through Lagos and I see that there's huge development. They are building a bridge across 2 different parts of the city of Lagos. That requires some mathematical engineering accuracy. If you bring somebody who has musical intelligence into that space, he's going to look like a fool, because he was not designed by his maker to function in that space. It's going to malfunction. And we have an educational system that does not help children express their natural intelligence beyond these three narrow paths. It's either they push you to sciences, push you to social sciences, or they push you to arts. And that is why we at the Purpose School, we found this secret to greatness, and we designed a curriculum around it, and we have been teaching this for 13 years. The first foundation to long-term success is the discovery of purpose, because your purpose will reveal your true identity, and your identity will reveal your potential, which is your abilities. This man, the doctor that discovered how to separate Siamese twins, that's Dr. Ben Carson. If you read his story very well, you'll discover that he was able, or his mother helped him on his self-discovery journey early. And this is why he grew and went on to become a world record, or he set a world record in the field of medicine. So if you find purpose early, you will choose a course of study that will be in line with your identity and your abilities. Now, I also said purpose is very important, because you need to, there's a time and season for every purpose under heaven. There's a season for discovery. The season of discovery should happen between the ages of 0 and 18 years old. So before you begin to make decisions as a human being on the course you want to study in a university, because when you begin to get to the age of 16, 17, 18, you are coming into the second season of life, which is the afternoon season. And this is the season that is designed by God, that is meant to be the season for the years of development. All right. Now, if you find your identity, and your identity helps you also understand your ability, your next decision will be an informed decision. Because if you discover, for example, that you are a fish, then you ought to be going into a field where you'll be learning. Everything has to be in the aquatic environment. Your everything you're learning should be in water. That's what I'm trying to establish here. And if you discover that your identity, that you are a bird, then you have no business going into a university program where you will be taught how to swim. You are going to kill your natural abilities. You are going to be frustrated because you are not given the equipment naturally by God for that environment. Okay, your purpose predetermines the equipment, which is the potential, the abilities that you have. Your purpose also predetermines your responsibility. There's a divine responsibility. There's a problem that has your name on it. Are you aware that there's a problem on this earth that has your name on it? There is a problem that God knew would exist that you have the answer to. That answer is inside of you. That answer is trapped within the seed, the unique seed that you have. That's why there are certain individuals today that enjoy back-to-back success, back-to-back calls, back-to-back. Every weekend, they are getting calls by the customers that have found that their seed or their fruit is an answer to their need. Or the way I like to say it is that their unique seed has been polished to become a unique answer to their unique needs. I talked about purpose being what predetermines your financial stability or your economic empowerment on this earth is connected to your purpose. If you find your purpose, now your purpose will help you discover your identity. And guess what? Your unique identity is a code. It makes you stand out of the over 7 billion human beings on the earth. So if you are able to find yourself, polish that seed, and then you bring that seed to the market, oh my God, you are going to be so rich, your unborn children will bless God for your life. That's the key and the secret to transgenerational prosperity, because you found your true identity. Okay, now, and there's no limit to how rich you can become once you find your true divine responsibility. That's the problem you were born to solve. You were designed by God to be an answer to a specific problem. And this is why you must find purpose before you go to school, to begin to study a course that will take you off course. So if you don't find your purpose, you will choose the wrong course. And when you choose the wrong course, it will take you off the course that will naturally lead you to success. I said earlier that your purpose predetermines your focus. Your focus is finding one course until successful. So if you don't find your purpose, you will choose the wrong subject. That wrong subject will make you go in the wrong direction, and you will be on the wrong career path. A career should span for minimum 40 years. And that's why when a lot of people retire in my country, they call them pensioners, because they are under tension. They actually come into a season of zero productivity. On the path of purpose, the more you engage your seed in that path, the more useful you become, the more productive you become, the more vibrant you become. You become like fine wine. You age with grace. In fact, you don't retire, you refire on that path. Another thing purpose does for you is it strengthens you in the season of adversity. It strengthens you in the season of adversity. A few years ago, I think this 2022, just 2 years ago, the entire earth came to a standstill. COVID-19 happened. The entire earth there was no physical movement. The people that were not stuck, that were not stranded, that were not imprisoned by the pandemic, were people who had discovered their true identity, who had discovered the key value or the core value that they were on the earth to trade with, that they were selling to others. And a lot of people gained mileage, a lot of people made more money, but the people that were highly dependent on other people, like I do not mean to make anybody in paid employment feel bad, but though especially those who are in the wrong kind of paid employment, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people became broke, busted, and disgusted. A lot of people discovered actually that they had actually not been living, they had just been surviving. Because your purpose is not what you do for a living, it's actually what you are living to do. All right? So your purpose prepares you for the season of adversity. Life has many seasons. Adversity is part of the natural seasons of life. So once you find purpose gives you inbuilt capacity to handle the seasons where there is a lot of rigor, a lot of negative circumstances on the outside. But people that have found purpose are able to tap into the strength that comes from their spirit man. You must remember that you are a spirit being. You were created by God. You are created in the image and likeness of God. So you are a spirit being just having a human experience. So finding purpose helps you to navigate the seasons of adversity. You are like a camel going through a journey in a desert. And you know, God gave camels the capacity to store water in their stomach, because they have 4 stomach layers. So you are able to draw inspiration to come out of whatever situation that life throws at you. You go through negative things, but those negative situations don't go through you, because you have found God's purpose for your life. And the fifth thing rather that your purpose determines is it determines total life prosperity. Now, the third major decision people make is the decision on who to marry, decision on who to spend the rest of your life with. All right. You ought to find your purpose for life before you choose a partner for life. You ought to find your purpose for life before you choose a partner for life. A lot of women make, not a lot of women alone, a lot of people make emotional decisions just based on how they are feeling at the moment or where they are in their journey of life. If you are a young man, young boy, young girl, young man, young woman watching this video at this point and you are not yet married, I want to plead with you, before you say I do to any man or woman, find out first what you were born to do. Find out what you were born to do before you say I do. Because that I do is an action word, is an action statement. Marriage is designed to be a vehicle that takes you and your partner on a long-term journey for you to fulfill the reason for your birth. A lot of people have married the enemies of their purpose. They married good people that were not right for them. A lot of people married out of pity. You don't marry a person because you pity them. You don't marry a person because you pay their school fees. You don't marry who is just available right now. You marry because you have found your own purpose for being on the earth, and then this person is a suitable complementary partner. If you are a man, for example, a young man, you are the one that God has given the divine responsibility to initiate that marriage covenant, to propose to a lady. But if you are a man and you have not found your life's work, you've not found where you are, who you are, you don't know where you are going in life, then you have no business asking a woman to join you in that journey, because marriage is a journey, marriage is not a destination. And I heard a story this evening. It was such a shock to hear that a woman, after over 20 years of being married to her husband, decided to leave him for an ex-boyfriend that was working for she and her husband as their driver. And she tricked her husband to the point whereby I think he became very financially blessed, and he was trying to either relocate to the United States of America. And she was there in the US, and this woman, while in the US, dumped her husband of over 20 years and married her ex-boyfriend after 20-something years of being married. I couldn't put that together. I still cannot wrap my head around that. And when I asked the question, I began to ask some questions. How did they meet? What was their reason for getting married? Because like I said earlier, purpose predetermines your finish line. You are not yet successful in marriage after 20 years. You are not successful in marriage after 40 years. The only thing that will determine if you're successful is after your death, we'll check the fruits and the fruitfulness of your marriage decision. Because you come into marriage after you have found purpose. You come into marriage only after, you should come into marriage only after you have found your purpose for being on the earth. I said earlier, you don't say I do until you have found what you are on this earth to do. If you are a man, you propose to a woman based on your discovery and revelation of who you are, where you are supposed to be headed in life, and then you find a suitable helper that is capable, that is a productive woman. So I say to a lot of women, it is a productive woman is more attractive than a seductive woman. A productive woman is more attractive than a seductive woman. And there's no woman, there's no young lady that finds God's purpose for her lives that will not be productive. Because purpose has the power to give you ideas, inspired ideas. You will be so workaholic. In fact, the challenge you would have is that you will feel like time is not enough. 24 hours will suddenly become small, because purpose has inbuilt ability to impregnate you with a vision. Same Kenny, thank you for joining. Great work both of you are doing, you and your twin brother. So I'm about to round off for this evening, but I want to read again the verse that I read earlier. Proverbs 19:21. God speaking here. He said, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. And why is that so? Why does purpose prevail over your own plans? A lot of people come to God with their plans. At the beginning of the year, you find a lot of people making adjustments, New Year resolutions, and they begin to, a lot of people even come to church the first night going into the first of a new year, and they make all manner of plans to say, this year I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But you see, before you make your plans, before you plan to choose the course you want to study in school, before you plan a career you want to pursue, before you plan to marry whoever you want to marry, that's if you are not yet married, the first thing you need to find and discover is God's own purpose for your life. Because God is not committed to your plans. God is only committed to his purpose. God is committed to his will. It is what is in God's will that will be on God's bill. I'm going to say that again. It's what, somebody should help me type that. Is what is in God's will that will be on God's bill. Is what God has planned to do that he will commit himself to in your life. So you can make your plans only, you should make your plans only after you have gotten a clear revelation of what God's purpose for your life is, and that discovery will help you understand your true identity. That identity would also help you locate your abilities. At the Purpose School, there's something we do called the temperament test. When you discover your temperament, do you know that you already have inbuilt strengths that point to specific vocations? For example, a sanguine will be tilted to being successful in careers that involve people, spending a lot of time with people, talking to people, sales. Most great salespeople are sanguines because the sanguine came with a natural strength and natural ability to persuade you. They are natural talkers. By the way, if you've noticed that I have a heavy dose of sanguine in me. But when you find purpose, your purpose reveals your potential. So at the Purpose School, we help you analyze you. You are such a powerful individual. And the reason why God sent you into the earth is because he finished your purpose and then gave breath to you and gave expression to you to come to this side of the earth to now start it out. So your future is God's past. Your future is God's past. Finding God's purpose for your life is like discovering the architectural design for a building. That building was built, any building you see standing today, it was built twice. It was built first on paper, completed firstly on paper, then the physical activity now begins. So these are the reasons, or some of the reasons, why you ought to find God's purpose for your life first before you choose a course to study in the university, so that you won't go into university and waste all your time studying a course that will not prepare you for your life's work. So if you are still a teenager or a young adult or a young adolescent, what you should be doing is clarifying if you are on the right course, so that you will not get into what is called midlife crisis, because a lot of people get into wrong careers. Your career is designed by God to carry you to the very top of that industry while you are fulfilling God's purpose for your life. There's an assignment that has your name on it. When you find God's purpose for your life, like I said earlier, you also locate a specific anointing. It's a specific anointing. It's a supernatural endowment. If you're a comedian, you crack jokes naturally. If you're a preacher, there's a specific message God wants you to preach. There's a specific people that you are sent to. You are not born to solve all problems. There's a specific problem with your name on it. And your money is tied to that problem. Your prosperity is tied to that problem. The nation of Nigeria today is in a systemic chaos because we have a lot of people who go into careers primarily because it is the new trend. It's making money now. You don't need all knowledge on this earth. You just need to find the revelation of who you are. Who you are will point you to where you ought to be going. On that path, there are people God has planted on that path that will help you accelerate your journey to success. And as you associate with those people, you would assimilate better. Okay. Last but not the least, your purpose predetermines your finish line. The end of your life in this path of life is not the end of your journey. It's not the end of you. Okay? There is a dimension of life called eternity. And that is why there are people sent into the marketplace with a message of Jesus Christ. So your job in the marketplace is not just to make money. You must bring Jesus to the scene. You must make the people around you know about salvation. So the end point of this video, of this teaching tonight, is this: your purpose, your purpose, yes, should help you clarify the course to study, the career to go into, the life partner that is best suited for you, and your purpose also prepares you for eternity. Let me talk a bit about that life partner issue because it's just burning in my heart. If you are not yet married, or maybe a relationship failed, you need to get over that and prepare for the person God is bringing into your life. The Bible says that God took one of the ribs plural, one of the ribs of Adam, and made that rib into a helper. So you see, there's no one specific person you must marry, but there's a kind of person that you ought to marry that will help you fulfill God's purpose for your life. If you're a woman here and all the men coming to you at this season of your life, I call them bonzos. They are not the boas. They are bonzos. They are not as godly. Let me know. I don't want to use the word godly. They don't have the DNA of the child of God. That they don't have the DNA that a child of God should have. They have no business hanging around them. The man you marry as a woman will determine how far you go in destiny. Don't be like Abigail in the Bible that married Nabal, a complete fool. All right? No matter how brilliant you are, if you associate with a fool, you become a brilliant fool and you will not be fulfilled. You will not be fulfilled. Okay? So the purpose of God for your life predetermines a lot of things, and it ought to be the foundation of the decisions you make before you choose the course to study in school. Before you get into a long-term career, you should have known the purpose of God for your life. Your purpose reveals your identity. Your identity reveals your abilities. Your abilities show you the responsibility tied against your name. A long-term career is finding a problem to solve. And if you find any expert in any field, you see that they have gone through all of these phases, and that's why they're able to withstand challenges. Your purpose also helps you withstand adversity. And the last thing that your purpose helps you do is it points you to how you can become prosperous. Total life prosperity. So these are some of the reasons why you should find purpose before you go into any long-term pursuit, because a life without purpose will surely be abused. All right? So do not fear that your life will come to an end. Rather, fear that your life never began. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that you are a solution to a specific problem that God knew would exist in this generation. All right. So thank you for joining, for all those that joined live, and for those that will watch this video later. Please leave a comment. Let me know how this live how this Instagram live broadcast blessed you. You can also send me a DM. We're still taking online registrations for the Purpose School. Thank you very much. Exceed as you proceed. God bless you.